What's up, everybody? Coach Garrett
and Coach Crystal
here at Six Pack Abs. Are you tired of having weak hamstrings? Are you tired of having a saggy butt? Are you tired of having those glutes that nobody wants to look at the pool and your bathing suit does not just seem to kind of fit the mold? Well, guess what? You're in luck. We just so happen to have a hip dominant booty blaster exercise for you. What's up, everybody? It's Coach Garrett
and Coach Crystal.
We're here at Six Pack Abs today. We're about to give you a hip dominant leg workout. Coach Crystal's gonna go through the workout. I'm gonna give her some pointers and tips as we're doing that for the fan base at home. If you're really trying to isolate those glutes, those hamstrings, and really pay attention so we don't put a lot of stress more on the knees, the quads, and you're having trouble kind of really shaping your butt or your hamstrings, then this workout's for you.
Absolutely.
So today we're gonna go over a variation of 5 workouts. It's going to be stiff-legged deads, to some goblet squats, to lateral, side lateral lunges, to some hip extension bridges on a bench, and then a pulse squat to kind of finish out the glutes right at the end. So this is a great one you can do at the house with just a pair of dumbbells to really kind of bring out those glutes and hamstrings. So before you do any of these leg workouts, I'm gonna have Coach Crystal do a little bit of dynamic stretching. We're trying to get a little synovial fluid released around the joint, get a little bit more elasticity in the joint and the muscle. Therefore, she can move and glide a little more freely to really maximize those glutes and hamstrings.
Sure, this is very, very important, guys. So he's gonna run me through a dynamic stretch real quick, just kind of get everything flowing. So he'll explain as I'm doing each one. We're gonna...
Right, to get her hips loose so she can obviously maximize. So we'll go first with just kind of a little hip swing right here. Basically just internal, external rotation of the hip. You may feel a little popping in there. That's why we're doing this. If you're real tight, if you've been sitting down all day, this is just allowing that femur and that ball and socket joint to just glide a little more freely. Now, I cannot emphasize this enough. This is something right here that you want to do before you do really any kind of strength training program. So this is something that's really gonna decrease your risk of injury and make sure you're more efficient in your movements. So next, we'll get Coach Crystal to kind of just swing the hips front and back. Basically, that's just hip extension. What she's doing is gonna maximize a little pull kind of in her front upper quadricep. That's just because most people are sedentary. We're tight now. These are naturally, your groin and your hip flexors are naturally tight. So it's just allowing her to kind of get a little bit more stretch. So when we do her squat, she's not dropping down. And then last is just gonna be a little bit of kind of a side swing. And she's just kind of just swinging her hip. Yep, just kind of basically kind of getting the top of her glutes and basically getting a little bit of stretch, top of the glutes and then in the groin area before we kind of hit the ground running.
And if you need to hold on to something, feel free to do that, like a chair.
Yeah, no,
couch,
100%.
anything like that. Another tip is I like to do one leg at a time. That way you're keeping the other leg balanced, and you also want to focus on using your glute to keep you stabilized on each of the exercises as well.
Exactly. And really, she nailed it, right? When you do this, bend the opposite leg, and that'll keep you a lot more stable in the ground, so you're not constantly trying to grab your balance. We probably would recommend you grab a wall to do this to allow the hips to get a little bit more range of motion.
Exactly.
Now that you're warm, we're gonna kind of go through these 5 workouts real quick. I want you to make sure you're doing the movements effectively. So Coach Crystal's gonna got her dumbbells. We're gonna put you through the first exercise. That's a stiff-legged deadlift. You do not wanna lock the legs out completely. Coach Crystal's gonna go through this movement, shoulder width apart with this. As the weights come, she's keeping these dumbbells very close to her shins, therefore not letting the weights get away, so therefore she can protect her lower back. Now, when you do this exercise, and you can see how Coach Crystal, when she comes back, she really pushes her hips back. That allows all that pull in the back of her hamstrings and glutes. But one thing, and that's super important, is Coach Crystal keeps her chest up. If you keep a big chest, you won't allow any extension in your lower back, therefore you won't get hurt. You hip hinge way back here, slight bend to the knees, just like that, and therefore you squeeze and drive through your heels. You see as she can shift her weight to her heels on the way up, not the balls of her feet. Now she can maximize the stress in her hamstrings to really, really bring those hamstrings out. Awesome. So for the second exercise, we're gonna do kind of a goblet squat here. Coach Crystal's gonna grab her dumbbell. So you notice as Coach Crystal brings it to her chest, she keeps it snug, but she also is going to keep her elbows very vertical. That's going to allow her to not drop as she goes down. She's going to get slightly a little bit wider. For her, that's more of a comfortable position, and she's going to keep her feet just slightly rotated open to allow her femur to get more depth and really maximize those glutes. So notice as Coach Crystal goes down, she loads the negative. That's perfect, right? Because you want to go slow in that eccentric part of the exercise. She keeps her chest very upright, so that'll help her load the back of her glutes and hamstrings on the way down. You notice she doesn't drop her chest. As she drives up through the ground, she drives through her heels here, and that allows Coach Crystal to maximize the squeeze in her glutes. The one thing I do want to commend her on in this exercise is she doesn't lock it out one time. She controls everything on the way down, and she squeezes and contracts her glutes. She'll lock it out when she is done with the set. Now, if this is too heavy for you, and maybe some people just don't want to hold that weight here because it can pull you forward if you're tight, then just do your hands. Fold your hands over and pray, or hold a lighter weight. Coach Crystal's obviously more advanced here, so that's, for her it's a little bit easier. But the form is the golden rule. Do not overcompensate form for weight. If you feel your form going, just regress. It's a quick fix. For the third exercise, we're going to do a side lateral lunge. We're going to demonstrate with just body weight first. Coach Crystal is going to just show you kind of a little body weight movements. Now, this is something in particular you need to be very careful with, because when you do this exercise and she's going to, as she steps, you're going to notice there's a lot of pull going to happen in this adductor and the inner thigh. Now, as Coach Crystal comes back down into this step, you notice how her chest stays up. All her weight stays over this right knee into that right heel. She's actually keeping her foot forward, which is even better to shape the outer butt and the outer quadriceps. Now, you can slightly turn the foot open if that's more comfortable for you. You will get a little bit higher up in the hip, and you won't necessarily isolate the bottom glute as much as you want. But you notice as she steps, she's slow into the way down. Her chest is big, and therefore she's protecting her hip, her joints, and she's controlling the movement. She contracts, drive through the heel on the way up. Notice she doesn't stay long at the top. She taps, and then she goes right back into loads and negative. This is what maximizes time under tension, guys, and this is what allows you to actually focus on the shortening and lengthening of the muscles. So this is what's going to prevent you from getting hurt. I can't tell you how many times I see so many people just fall into that movement without controlling it, which puts tons of stress. We'll also show you, Coach Crystal can show you how to do it with the dumbbell if you're a little more advanced. The weight can be your anchor, but please make sure you control it. Now, Coach Crystal's obviously more advanced, so you notice she does a great job of keeping her chest very vertical as she sits into that step. If you feel like you have tight hips, if you feel like you're a tight chest, then you may just want to leave the weight alone until you can master this movement. It's not about how fast you can go through this, guys. It's more about making these reps efficient because you're trying to shape the body. The cardio, the kitchen will allow you to kind of tone and get the results that you want to see. This is going to allow you to shape and obviously keep you from getting hurt.
Exactly, and always make sure that you're sitting into the glute as you come into that movement to make sure everything is going through your heels.
Right, perfect. Yeah, and we don't want pronating knees,
right,
or you don't want to get too far over to where you're putting stress. She said it exactly. You want to load the glute right above the knee and then use your body weight to slowly fall into it. So on the fourth exercise, Coach Crystal is going to do a hip extension, bridging her hips onto the bench. Now with this right here, you're going to use your elbows and your palms to kind of really fully extend. Put your foot kind of on the side of the bench. Coach Crystal is going to keep her butt a little closer. You notice that she uses her opposite leg to kind of use to kick. Notice also as she gets to the top, she's really fully extending to maximize that squeeze in the glute on the bottom. You don't want to partial rep this right here. You really want to kind of drive through that heel. If you have to use a little momentum, that's what the leg and the arms are for. And then also, that's going to allow you to extend more and maximize that squeeze in the glutes. So we're going to do a single leg, and then we're going to go shift, and now Coach Crystal is going to do both legs right here. So she's normally a little bit shorter, so the shorter it is, we'll get a little bit more meat of the gluteus maximus. If Coach Crystal wants to rotate out at the top as she comes up, then we'll shift the weight to the outer glute. Just know the difference. That's just based off where her knees are at and how she's externally rotating her hips and knees at the top and her foot placement. That's how you maximize the shape, but all the basics of palms in the ground, check. Full extension with the hips, check. Slow and controlled, and she maximizes her squeeze at the top, check.
Woo.
And the last exercise is going to be a pulse squat. So obviously there's a lot of blood in the legs right now.
Oh, yeah.
You should be pretty fatigued at this point. So right now we're just going to kind of finish them off here. We're going to maximize getting some depth, driving her through her heels, and just notice as Coach Crystal, basically she will not lock out this entire pulse squat. She's getting great depth again, controlled depth, and she's squeezing and contracting her glutes on the way up. Notice her chest is upright. She's in her heels. She's squeezing her glutes on the way up. And this is controlled rep. And this is time under tension. And we're just basically trying to shape her butt and allow to get as much blood as we can in there. And we're going to let her mentally push past the burn a little bit.
Woo. Good burn.
So we're going to incorporate all 5 of these exercises back to back to back. We're going to shape the hamstrings, the outer glutes, the center of the glutes. You're going to get a little bit of your adductors and some quads. It is particular a hip dominant hamstring exercise. So this is for everyone at home that wants to tighten those glutes, shape those hamstrings, and do it the right way. Since now we just went through all 5 of these exercises for you how to do them the right way to maximize and shape those glutes and hamstrings, now we're going to hit the ground running and put Coach Crystal through the workout. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, so just get a stopwatch at home. We're gonna do a circuit here. If you wanna do reps, you do reps. It's up to you. I'm gonna keep our tempo going, but controlled. So I'm gonna be the stopwatch here, and we're gonna get this party started. The first exercise we're gonna do is a stiff leg deadlift, and we're gonna go in 5, 4, 3, 2, and go. Boom. Remember, guys, it's not a sprint, it's controlled. Notice we want time under tension. Back to a few pointers. Coach Crystal keeps her chest up, pushes her hips back, feet are shoulder width apart. She's sliding her weight into her heels and squeezing her glutes and hamstrings on the way up. That is how you hip hinge and maximize the stress in the hamstrings. I see too many people dropping the neck, looking down, rounding the back. You do not want that because it's going to end up hurting the lower back. Good. We got about 5 seconds. She doesn't lock out once in 3, 2, 1, and good. This is a stretch and strengthen exercise next to goblet squats. Here we go. And go. So, good. Great depth. She's actually gonna really go through this control. So this is 2.5 minutes of straight time under tension. So I definitely feel for her on this one right here because she's gonna have tons of blood in her legs, but her body's gonna look great in a bathing suit. Good. Heels, she's squeezing her glutes, her chest is up. Guys, remember a few tips that you can't see at home. Her core is tight and she's contracting her glutes on the way up. Make sure that's important as you go through. We got 5 seconds. Slow, squeeze the glutes. She doesn't lock out once. Great job, Coach Crystal. And side lateral lunges. Boom. So remember, we said you can do weight or no weight at home. It's personal preference. So we're gonna go side lateral lunges in 3, 2, 1, go. Boom. Perfect. Remember, Coach Crystal, when she steps, is going to load the negative to maximize the squeeze in the glutes and the hamstrings, the stretch, and therefore she's going to protect the joints and not putting any stress by hitting the ground far. She's going to basically hit the ground, come back up, tap, and then basically go right back to the exercise. Now you have the weight to help you stretch, but she keeps her chest up to protect her lower back. Here we got 4 seconds, 3, good job, Coach Crystal, 2, good stretch, squeeze, and good. Other side. All right, straight to it, good job. Guys, I cannot emphasize enough how important a flat shoe is in this exercise. It will allow you to really keep those heels in the ground, but it'll allow you to be more stable in the exercise. That's why she's not moving at all. She's controlling this exercise perfectly, and that's why she's loading her glutes, and she's gonna have Nice legs, nice hamstrings, nice butt, pain-free. 3, 2, and good. All right, we gotta. Now, we're gonna do some glute hip bridges with Coach Crystal. You can have your bench ready at the house. We're just bringing it here. Give her a small little breather right there, just a quick one, that's it.
I'll take it.
So remember guys, we want our legs to be close. You want to put the heel in the side of the bench. Use your arms, and you can use the opposite leg to extend. We're gonna go 30 seconds each leg, and then 30 seconds together. All right, ready, Coach Crystal? And go. Perfect. Remember, it's about the contraction at the top. She doesn't stay long at the bottom. She actually holds the squeeze at the top for a second because she knows that's how you shape your butt. So good job. She's pushing through, her hands and her elbows if she needs. She has this opposite foot for momentum, and she fully extends and maximizes the squeeze on the glutes and hamstrings. 5 seconds left. Good job, Coach Crystal. 4, 3, 2, and switching legs. Now you will feel sometimes when you do this exercise, you may feel like your body will push you away from the bench. If that case, and it does, just readjust like she did, because what happens when you go too far out is it can maybe shift a little more to the hamstring and the calf, and you can't really get that hip and that butt as much as you want. You're doing great, Coach Crystal. 10 seconds. The real key in this exercise, guys, is full extension. She fully extends, and boom, there's your peak contraction in your glutes right there. 2, 1 more rep, and good. Now both feet. We're gonna go a little bit closer with our feet to shape more of the center of the glutes here. Also, we'll show you halfway through. Good. How to turn out to work the outer gluteus medius as well. Now some girls as well, guys, if you want, you can put a booty band on above the knees, and you can shape, a little bit outer quadriceps and glutes. You can do all of the above. Again, just remember the basics. Bridge the hips, squeeze the glutes, push through your heels, contract and hold. Good job. You got 5 seconds, Coach Crystal. 4, 3, 2, and good. Woo. Boom. Last one is the pulse squat. She's obviously got a lot of blood in her legs, so we're gonna do a pulse squat real quick and finish it off for the set. Remember, right now is a mental game because you've been 2 minutes straight of abs. So we'll get Coach Crystal to focus on tempo, but controlled reps. All right, guys, here we go. Pulse squat in 3, 2, 1, go. Good. And you can kind of go, there is no set area where you need to be with your feet. Now, I will highly recommend that you may slightly rotate the feet open, not a lot, but just a little, to allow your femur to glide more freely, especially if you have tight hip flexors, tight chest. You don't want all that pull forward. Notice Coach Crystal goes below 90, she contracts her glutes, but she does not lock out one time. That's crucial. I see so many people fall too fast on the way down, and they come up and take a break at the top. That's not time under tension. We'll keep her up there. 10 more seconds. Great job. Good form, good technique. 3, 2, 1, and boom. Round 1. How do you feel?
Woo! I feel that blood in those legs.
Good. So we're shaping every part of your legs. We focused a little bit more on the hamstrings and the glutes.
The booty.
We broke it down for you on how to do the exercises correctly because believe me, we see a lot of people doing them incorrectly. So we want to help you get to your goals effectively and efficiently, but we want to educate you along the way because we don't want to see anyone here at Six Pack Abs get hurt. So I'm Coach Garrett.
Coach Crystal.
Giving you a hip dominant booty hamstring workout.
To maximize your effort.
And I hope everyone at home can benefit from this, guys or girls.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you next time, huh?
Make sure you click, subscribe, share, comment, click the notification bell. That way you know every time we put out something new, guys.
We'd love to hear from you guys. Keep the comments coming if you like it. If not, we appreciate all comments. Y'all have a great day.